Activision Blizzard will pay $54 million to California after settling lawsuit. More than 2 years later, California's lawsuit against Activision Blizzard is over. Activision Blizzard has settled its 2021 lawsuit with the state of California and will pay $54 million to the state, along with an additional $47 million to female employees who worked in the company from 2015 to 2020. The 2021 lawsuit, filed by the state agency then known as the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing, and now known as the California Civil Rights Department, accused Activision Blizzard of fostering a frat boy workplace culture rife with sexual harassment. Now, via the New York Times, Activision Blizzard and the California Civil Rights Department say in the settlement agreement that investigations into the company's culture did not turn up evidence of systemic or widespread sexual harassment. An investigation to Activision's board, including the company's CEO, Bobby Kotick, found no evidence of wrongdoing, according to the settlement agreement. A report by the Wall Street Journal in 2021 alleged Kotick hid knowledge of misconduct at the company. The report alleged he had made a death threat to a female assistant in 2006 and had personally intervened in a separate internal sexual harassment investigation at the company. Activision Blizzard had previously argued against the lawsuit, attributing it to irresponsible behavior from unaccountable state bureaucrats. In the wake of the lawsuit's allegations, Activision Blizzard announced steps it had taken to create a more accountable workplace. Those steps included an expansion and restructuring of the company's employee relations and ethics and compliance terms. It was also announced that more than 20 people involved in resolved reports at Activision Blizzard had departed the company, with another 20 or so facing disciplinary action. Even Activision Blizzard's games were affected by the lawsuit, as Blizzard in particular sought to distance itself from implicated employees. In World of Warcraft, multiple references to the only Blizzard employees explicitly named in California's lawsuit were removed. Blizzard accidentally changed the name of the Overwatch character, originally named Jesse McCree, named after a former Blizzard employee who was fired following the California lawsuit. The lawsuit, in part, led to Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard, a deal that was finalized this year. The publisher behind Call of Duty and World of Warcraft saw its stock price significantly fall in the wake of the lawsuit accusations, leading to Microsoft's $69 billion acquisition. California's lawsuit led to employee walkouts at Activision Blizzard. The departure of Blizzard's then President 1, Alan Brack, and unionization efforts at multiple studios operating under the Activision Blizzard umbrella. Quality assurance testers at Raven Software and Blizzard Albany, formerly Vicarious Visions, both unionized in the wake of the lawsuit. Another studio acquired by Activision Blizzard in 2022, Proletariat, sought to unionize as well. Its union vote was later dropped, with workers accusing Proletariat CEO Seth Civic making a free and fair election impossible. Activision Blizzard has settled multiple other cases in recent years. In March 2022, Activision Blizzard settled a separate sexual harassment lawsuit with the Federal Equal Employment Opportunity Commission to the tune of $18 million, and in February 2023 paid $35 million in a settlement to the SEC, U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, over accusations that the publisher failed to properly disclose information to investors. According to the New York Times, the 2021 State of California settlement agreement is still subject to court approval and will be filed later this week. So I guess we can look at the comments. Someone said, okay, can someone please explain to me how the state of California is entitled to any money from Blizzard for this? Honestly, shouldn't the money be going to the victims, not the state where the HQ just happened to be located? Or are they going to pay out the winnings to the victims? If the money is actually going to the victims, then great. But if it's just going into the pockets of some sleazy California politicians who probably are just as guilty of sexual harassment, then obviously that stinks. You would think California, with a place like Hollywood, would focus on more serious issues than some nerds making lewd comments. And I was about to post similar thoughts. I agree with everything you posted. What do you think of this?
Well, California,
Yeah.
It has the biggest, yeah, that's the one of the biggest economies in the world. If not, at one point it was like 1/5. Now it's like 1/8 of the economy, like, or it's not 1/10 right now of the world's economy. So that's one of the reasons why California has its hand in this lawsuit. In my perspective, that is, as a gathering up the evidence or the information at least. Because California has Silicon Valley and all, has all the game and the technology in California for Vicarious to the microchips and all, and you name it. Like it have almost everything regarding about games and game related technology. So you're not gonna California's gonna have his hand in some kind of monetary value hand in these gaming industries, at least that, even if it is a lawsuit for the victims and all from the sexual harassment, especially because Activision Blizzard has always had sexual harassment claims against them for at least good how many decades so far. And it was even mentioned on record that them have literally active frat boys at these companies, if I recall correct, from like the 2000s, where you see like random videos on these random websites. They'll show like Activision Blizzard about them acting all like fratty with the girls and shit, like they acting all sexual harassment with the girls and shit. So yeah,
Yeah.
so it's
Um, honestly, yeah, if it's going to, that's another. I do like the first comment though. Like they said, if it's going to the victims, great. But if it's going to politicians, who cares? And I really don't think the money is going to be going to the victims, to be
oh yeah,
honest. I think it's
always someone always wants to reroute the sources to their own hands.
because it's not the victims that are suing them. It's these um, companies that sometimes usually are guilty of reaching. So it's yeah. So I don't think it's going to be. I don't think at least a majority is going to the victims. I don't. And honestly, my opinion of California is very low. So I don't see them doing the right thing. So it's yeah. So I mean, at the same time, Activision Blizzard wasn't correct, but they also said like a lot of the accusations turned up um, turned up no evidence to find any evidence of wrongdoing. So I'm surprised Activision Blizzard settled and didn't take it to court.
Hmm. Well, yeah, like I said, like they have a history of like harassment towards females, so they want to like settle this as fast as possible, as efficient as possible, especially during the time of like transitioning from the acquisition of the Activision Blizzard to Microsoft and all. So try to settle the air, solve problems in the meantime, complete the transaction of the complete acquisition of between Microsoft and Activision Blizzard. That's it. It's all under the rug now.
Yeah, I see that.